I am once again here to tell you that you have pissed off the wrong group.
Let's fear God! Let's fear God! Let's fear God! Let's fear God!
Well, gang, this right here is a bit of a follow-up to a video that I released earlier today at 3 p.m. Of course, these videos are coming out on Thursday, and Thursday is going to be a day of three, so make sure you guys stick around for the third one. So, wow, we talk about this whole Pride thing, and we talk about Pride Month and how it is that veterans only get like 2 days a year total, Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And of course, America itself only gets one day, July the 4th. And of course, to go on top of that, Christians only get one day, that there being Easter. But yet, 3 to 5% of the population gets an entire month. Well, apparently not so much, especially seeing how it is that Xbox and a lot of other companies, including sports leagues like, say, the MLB, Major League Baseball, of course, they just went with the pride flag for like one day and then pulled it down. But still, at the same time, though, here we are, as you guys obviously saw, the Muslims are back. Nothing wrong with that, of course, but I'm here to tell the woke left that this right here is not the group to piss off. So, over the weekend in Glendale, California, and there was actually something else that occurred too that I recently found and decided to put in this video. A group of Armenians, they got together to protest what was going on in that area with the school system and how it is that they want to go with the woke LGBTQ curriculum. And of course, a bunch of fights broke out. And even though I can't really show you the fights, I'm showing you guys a photo. And of course, I'm also showing you this right here because now you're going to see what YouTube will allow me to show you.
Children! Protect our 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 children! Let's fear God! 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 Religious freedom now! 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 Secular schools! 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 Secular schools!
Should not. Andy.
Well, I think that the political agenda of white liberals has really woken up sleeping giants, not just in the North LA County area where there are many Armenian American families, but also yesterday, the same day where there was a clash in LA, there was also a very large similar protest by largely Muslim families in Montgomery County, Maryland, also over the same issue of parents largely of immigrant backgrounds feeling now that their voices over whatever their values are for their children are not being respected. And Antifa and the far left are quite in a bit of shock, actually. They were completely outnumbered yesterday in LA County. They tried to call for reinforcements online, and they were met by many Armenian American men who engaged with them physically when it came to that, and Antifa were protected by police. I think if police were not there yesterday in Glendale, California, there would have been a lot more injuries on the Antifa side.
Andy, can you speak to us about...
Andy was for the most part on the ground doing everything that he normally does. However, here is the thing. There is a lot more going on other than that. You see, right now, I think it was reported by Fox DC5 that there's been this school curriculum thing that's been going on for a while, this little debate that's been happening between the, let's just say Christians and Muslims both are actually protesting the whole pride stuff because obviously some school systems want to try to include all this gender stuff into the curriculum. I'll be showing you guys that stuff right here in a second, but I'm also showing you something else. This right here was a church in Massachusetts, an established church that, let's just say, it burnt down. The steeple did. It has been said, and of course I'll be leaving this video right here in the description box because Melanie Mack had a lot more facts on this, and she's not the only one, but a lot of others have also been reporting on this issue as well, that apparently this right here is one of those woke churches where they have an LGBTQ minister and all that stuff there. I don't know what to tell you, but it seems to me like God may be telling us something. I normally don't invoke my way of life because I'm really not that good of a Christian on this channel, but it seems to me like he may be saying something. And then, of course, you've got this whole thing that's going on in New York. Of course, people are saying it's the wildfires that are going on in Canada. But still, it looks a lot like San Francisco did during 2020. And, of course, there were a lot of very unsavory laws that were passed then. But, yeah. Once again, we are here to talk about this. Once again, they have decided to invade the schools.
No opt-out policy for certain LGBTQ plus books approved for the classroom. Our Katie Barlow was at that meeting.
Well, here's the gist. Montgomery County has approved a list of LGBTQ plus inclusive materials to be taught in the classroom, but they also have a policy that says students and families cannot opt out of engaging with those instructional materials. Now, one side says it's important to have those materials to teach kids about all kinds of families and the differences among all humans. Information is not indoctrination, they say. But those opposed say it's fine to have the books, but you have to allow us to opt out of that instruction. The government can't force us to teach our children something that we disagree with.
These things should not even happen. We should all talk to one another, love one another, respect one another. It shouldn't be up to a school system to force one believer over another, right? Or tell some people how to believe and what not to believe.
2 weeks ago, a group of Muslim and Christian parents filed a federal lawsuit claiming the no opt-out policy violates the constitutional guarantee of free exercise of religion. The suit highlights books like Uncle Bobby's Wedding, a story about a young girl's uncle marrying his boyfriend, and Pride Puppy, that for 3- and 4-year-olds invites them to hunt for things they may find at a pride parade, including a drag king or queen, leather, and underwear. During the meeting today, board members listened to advocates on both sides of the issue. Meanwhile, outside, parents and community members protested but took time to listen to each other's perspectives.
I mean,
Exactly.
we're not
That's
that much
what I was
different,
saying.
right? We're
Yeah.
more alike than we are different. But we have to respect each other's differences, and we have to respect, I feel, everyone's right to see that people are different from a very young age, because they are aware and they do see it. You have back to school night, families come in with two fathers or two mothers.
Laura and Hisham were not the only ones peacefully debating the issue outside of the school board meeting today. Sometimes a rare sight at these hotly contested debates at school board meetings we've seen around our area. There was no official decision from the school board today. They were just hearing feedback from community members.
This video right here is going to be a little bit shorter than the video that was released earlier. I probably should have mentioned that earlier, but I want to say this really quick. You don't want to piss off Muslims in this case. The reason why is because, and really quick, to all those leftoids out there who think that because Muslims vote Democrat mostly, that they're all liberal and whatnot, that's not true at all. If anything, Muslims are actually way more right-wing than Christians are. They're way more dominant in that case of the fact that they're, let's just say that there are certain things that they're not exactly willing to let slide. One of that, of course, is that lifestyle that we're not really allowed to talk about very much here on YouTube. Even though YouTube has now released the policies on the 2020 election, now we can actually talk about that, but of course we still can't mention the community that, quite frankly, always gets us in trouble anytime we actually mention anything. By the way, we don't warn people of that lifestyle about this out of discontent or bigotry or anything like that. We warn you because it's actually how the way the world works. I have to remind people of that reporter that died in Qatar, the one who decided to wear the pride flag themed shirt at the World Cup, and how it was that he was asked to leave. Now, many people don't really know how he died. Of course, the guy's brother asserted that maybe the government may have something to do with it. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to digress on that one, but I'm just going to say right now that there are certain cultures out there that do not like that lifestyle. For example, in Ghana, they're in the process of banning it. In Uganda, they've already banned it. Africa's not exactly down with the whole pride thing. And I got to say this really quick. You see, guys, I'm putting up the pride flag and then putting up the new iteration of the pride flag. And I've noticed that there are 6 colors on it, and then the new one comes in. Now there's like 11. As I've said before, that the pride flag, of course, is really just blasphemous. It is a mockery of the covenant that God made with Noah after the flood, basically saying, look, I won't destroy the world anymore, not by way of water, but that doesn't mean I won't do it by fire. All right, just figure I'd go ahead and throw that out there, and maybe that little burning church could be a sign. Now, guys, I'm not rooting this on or anything like that. I'm just telling you the way that it is. This right here is not the group that you want to piss off. These are not the people that you want to upset, because if there are some people out there that might be willing to break the law to get a point across, it definitely is not us Christians. We typically tend to be much, much more peaceful about it. Of course, the woke left obviously hates anybody who believes in God, because the vast majority of them are atheists, and they're also not they're also not okay with having children or whatnot, but yet they want to invade upon your children. Something else too, and I caught this, okay, because there was also another protest that occurred in California. Let me show you guys some bits and pieces of this really quick to kind of, just kind of help hammer down the point just a little bit more.
No. Let's go down here. I'm sorry, what are you saying? You don't want to talk to us? Fake news. You won't speak to us. No, you won't tell us what you're...
We're here to tell them we don't hate them. We accept the way they are, and they must accept the parents' rights. This is what it's about. We don't hate them. We have nothing, absolutely nothing against them. I'm a human rights activist. I have great friends.
She's a bigot and she's a fascist, and you shouldn't be platforming. You shouldn't be platforming.
You don't know what this is about.
Bigots.
Honestly, you don't know what this is about.
Listen, let me...
This is about our kids. This is about
what's wrong with the Pride
There's
Assembly?
nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. We want to teach our kids on our terms. My 7-year-old son don't need to know what sex is about. That's it. I want to teach my kids on my term. There's nothing wrong with these people.
Notice how that guy just kind of like just showed up, beard, black clad, Antifa, of course, I already showed you guys Antifa getting their butt stomped by a bunch of Armenians. Okay, here's the deal. The vast majority of the left, and I said this in the earlier video, and I want to go ahead and allude to it now. The LGBTQ pride stuff, which of course is just a pandering campaign, I already explained how it was that people were actually turning on that, saying, look, enough is a damn it, enough. Okay, we can't take it this more. People, of course, they put the pride flag up this time for instead of a month. They did it for one day. Obviously, people don't want to get Bud Lighted or targeted, thanks to conservatives like myself who said, the hell with this, we're just not going to buy your product. I have officially don't really drink that much anymore, but when I do, it's usually a Yingling or something local. But still at the same time, though, that is what this is. People start to realize that they're losing money. Target, of course, they're looking at losing roughly $15 billion. Anheuser-Busch has lost close to $30 billion. They are looking at the possibility of not having their company any damn more. They are looking at the possibility of losing a lot of cash. Somebody's going to come in here and say, well, it's a very, very large conglomerate. They're not going to go down. Okay, but you're at the point to where you got to buy back beer. That's a problem. Fact of the matter is this right here. People are tired of it. They cannot take it anymore. You're probably going to see a lot of people pull their kids out of school, start homeschooling them. You're probably going to see more and more and more buying of local. You're going to see a lot of these woke corporations obviously take a hit in the wallet. The thing I have to say is this right here. And I said this in a previous video. The reason why it is the way that it is because this type of stuff mostly occurs in America's largest cities. They're most woke, most liberal cities out there, mostly there. However, when it gets into rural America and small town America, which is really where most of America lives at, because when they tell you that America's population is mostly urban, for the most part, they're not telling you that more than half of that number is in towns of less than 100,000 people. They're considered to be small towns. Actually, it's really 200,000, but still at the same time, though, when you consider that when they say that, well, 80% of the country is urban, not necessarily, it's really more along the lines of 80% is overall urban, but in that total, it's right around, I would say probably roughly 50% of that number. When you add in rural America, you add in suburbs, they're not living in the big cities. They're mostly living in small towns. When it actually hits small town America and mama bears are pissed off, this right here is the result that you're going to get. Obviously, the Armenians were not cool with that. Obviously, the Muslims were not exactly cool with the fact that their religious rights are being impeded on. Christians, we're kind of used to this because, like I said before, they tell us that Muslims are liberal because they vote Democrat. No. They vote Democrat because, for the most part, Democrats allow them to practice in certain small areas. Now they have decided to revoke that oath and alter the deals that they have made. Go back to the Dearborn, Michigan thing. Go back to that there. That should tell you everything you need to know. They vote for a certain candidate that allows them to actually practice in a certain area. Now that you have impeded on that, you are probably going to lose them. And YouTube, I'm not advocating, I'm not making a prediction or anything like that. I'm just saying that if there is a group that is willing to, let's just say, bend the bounds of what is morally okay and what is legally okay, it is definitely that group there. They believe very, very deeply in their way of life. And to go on top of that, they don't want their kids exposed to a lifestyle that, quite frankly, in the Middle East, gets you killed, gets you tossed off a building, gets you decapitated. Picking up on my drift? Let me go ahead and end this video on this right here. It seems to me that the Antifa, the far left, it seems to me that these people have this very, very, very weird obsession with your kids. They seem to have that extremely weird obsession. It's almost like they're trying to say that, look, we don't want to have any kids of our own, but we want your kids to suffer. I've talked about this before. Fatherly.com released a study, and there were multiple others that kind of concurred with this study that showed that conservatives have kids 2 to 1 per liberal household, meaning that kids have twice as many kids. That means that the future actually looks pretty well conservative based upon the actual housing, the actual situation that they're growing up in, being around conservative parents. It seems to me that liberals are about to be outnumbered, especially given the fact that they, how do I say this? That's right. That's right. They believe in abortion at birth. They believe in, well, I'm pretty sure you guys know about the experimentation, because that's all I'm going to say is that there, because obviously if you say the words together, YouTube will find a way to strike the video. Let's just put it this way here. Wokeness is a pretty futile lifestyle. It really and truly is. When you can't produce kids of your own, you refuse to produce kids of your own, and of course you have these economical environments where you can't take care of your kids, and next thing you know, you have 2 conservative kids per 1 liberal kid in each household. It kind of tells you right there that obviously conservatives at some point will actually outnumber liberals. However, I don't know if these Antifa types realize that they're actually just good old-fashioned useful idiots. Yes, we're going to be doing a lot of Yuri Bezmenov here in the future, especially when we start doing long-form content, more of it. The Matt Walsh video versus gamers was kind of a preview of what to expect on this channel going forward. But of course, I've still put these videos out 2 to 3 a day, maybe 1 long form, 1 a day out per week to kind of keep the algorithm going. So that way you guys can kind of see what the hell's going on and see what kind of issues are actually going out there, what you might want to be concerned about, what you might want to share to your family. However, before I end this video, I need to go ahead and say this right here. Newt Gingrich the other day was on Fox News talking to Maria Bartiromo. I caught this right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and say that I am shocked somehow or another after he said this, that there was no release saying that he was no longer going to be allowed on Fox News. So before I show you that, let me just go ahead and say this right. Make sure you guys please hit that like button. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. I appreciate it. If you think I have earned your subscription, please subscribe. Cut the notifications bell on. Share with your friends. Share with your family. Let's make this platform grow. Let's go ahead and get a few hundred likes, hell, even a couple of thousand likes on this video. So that way it will go viral. And I'm just going to go ahead and just leave you guys with this, and I'll see you guys later.
In terms of the mainstream media, these are the most serious charges ever leveled at a president, and the mainstream media will not report it, Newt.
Of course not. Look, you have to understand, the national establishment, the people who went to Harvard and Yale and Princeton, the folks who belong to Skull and Bones, all of those people are united in a determination to retain power over the American people. And they're watching a steady upsurge of Americans who are sick and tired of a corrupt elite that's trying to do things. You're seeing this, frankly, with Target. You saw it with Bud Light. I think the Dodgers are going to face tremendous penalties for having brought in an anti-Catholic, anti-nun, vicious group of people. And I think that you look at what's happening here, we know now from the Durham report that virtually everything said about Donald Trump was a lie. And sadly, almost everything being said about Joe Biden is the truth. And yet, the FBI is trying to protect him. The Justice Department is trying to protect him. The intelligence community is trying to protect him. And it's because you have a left-wing establishment that is under siege, that is losing power, and they are desperate to stay in charge. And the only way they can stay in charge is this kind of constant assault. And that's why I think the Republicans in the House in particular, who are the most conservative group in Washington, have to stand firm and have to stand united. And they're going to win because they have the power of the purse. Nothing gets done after October 1 if they don't pass the appropriations bills.
Well,